Hello and welcome to Stud's Side Notes. Today we're going to be going over how to analyze match footage to get better at the game. Especially early on in the game, once you've played a little bit, one of the best things that you can do is check out what better, stronger players are doing by finding footage of tournaments or players who stream or upload YouTube videos of their matches, and just sort of looking at the options that they pick and figuring out what to do. So today, obviously, we're still quite new at this game. We're just going to be looking at some big overarching things that this player uses that we just do not have in our game and try to implement them. And I tried to pick a rushdown character because a lot of characters in the game are going to have a similar general basic idea of how Oleander wants to play against them. Velvet is basically the only character that Oleander has to be the aggressor in, and in pretty much all other matchups, it's either a mirror match or the other character is really the one that has to get in because Oleander has fireballs and traps and teleports, and they often don't. And so that's what we're going to be looking for. Obviously, the better you are, the more you can look at specific setups or specific items that you want to learn about. But for today, we're just going to be looking at like gigantic areas of our game that are just missing. And we'll be doing that by looking at the Fightin' Fanatics tournament. And they have their own YouTube video and channel, and you should go check them out. Link will be in the description. They run a lot of content for this game. So let's get started and see what we can learn. So I'll be interested to see what the round start is here. Presumably it will be... Okay, so Arizona actually backs off there and then is able to block a small pressure string and then get in. Alright. So it's interesting that Arizona felt the need to back off at round start there. So generally speaking, I think that we can glean from that Oleander has really scary round starts, and we can try to take advantage of that. Alright, the teleport. We don't do that to get out of the corner, or much double teleport, or much of anything, to be honest, very often. That's a big part of the game that we really just don't have. So I'll definitely have to start trying to add the teleports into my game. And we'll go from there. Yeah, look at that. That one, I think, was just a teleport to steal some meter, is my guess. Oh, okay. And she actually drops the combo early with the ground bounce to get double magic, and has already used both of those stocks of magic. Okay, yeah, we definitely need to work on our magic game, and then using magic items more often, because that seems to be a big part of the game that this Oleander is running that we don't have, right? Oftentimes we're doing our sweep into get 1 meter, and then we get some pretty basic Oki. It's not great, but it looks like our character, which is really good in neutral, probably is happier to be in neutral and then have a bunch of magic options that help her win. Like, look at that, another teleport. And like, it didn't work out. It looks like Bubble Boots was ready for it, but definitely this Otter Oleander player has been teleporting way more than us. All right, Tiger Knee Fireball into teleport. Here we are. Uses that as a way to get in. And all right, here's another big part that we need to work on, right? I need some basic Fred here. Looks like 1D into push buttons is really good. Oh, yeah, teleport cross up. That was a cross up overhead. And that one was another like free approach, invincible teleport in, covered by Fred. So we can see a couple of like basic ideas that we can use to make it so that Fred is probably already going to be worth it, right? I can press 2-2D and then hit a Fred button. I'm pretty sure I've got it in me to be able to do that. And it might take a little while before I'm good at it and don't leave gaps and that kind of thing, but we can definitely put that into our game. So we'll start trying to summon Fred and get stuff out of him. That overhead, I feel like these tournament Oleander players are using that overhead more often than I am. Okay, look at that. That was another cross-up attempt. That was Chapter Trap into cross-up teleport. And while it didn't hit, it still left a trap on the ground that allowed the Oleander to get pressure and get in. So that's really good. And now, though, this Arizona has infinite meter, and so like any hit probably goes into like half-life here, right? Okay, it didn't go for it there. It's interesting. I mean, like, honestly, Oleander's already probably at the point where if you get 2 hits and use all 3 meter, that's the game. So I'm definitely expecting to see that come out here. See how the Oleander tries to deal with the fact that they know that this Arizona wants to do that. Here it comes. Oh, and tried to teleport back, but the super actually hits the teleport back there. That is... wow. You have to be very on point to deal with that. But that was actually less damage and pressure than I had expected the Arizona to get. And here comes Fred. And what's the mix-up here? It's just that 1D move into... yeah, there was a teleport behind. And another teleport. And get magic while Fred covers. Ooh, okay. I think that could have been a big conversion, but jumped over looked like the counter, and that's going to be it. So definitely a lot of use of double jump and teleport to stay in the air longer than you might expect and be tricky and do cross-ups and stuff. So that teleport needs to get thrown into our game plan as quickly as we can. So... yeah, we've already learned 2 big things, and honestly, if that's all we learn from this at this point in time with our analysis, that's probably enough to work on. Like, there's a bunch of other little things that are going on, and I'm noticing some of them, but to be honest, until I am comfortable doing teleports in neutral and using them for pressure, and getting Fred out and actually getting some good pressure off of Fred, all the other little things that we're looking at just aren't as important, because we'll have to get good at teleporting and Fred as a baseline before a lot of those other things are very useful. Alright, they both backed off, so nobody really wants to play the round start game here. Looks like, oh, okay, we haven't seen that. I think there's there's a little mini game going on here in this matchup. So Oleander has to pay attention to where the stomp and the rope are. And so the neutral probably has a lot to do with that. So let's look at that now. Yep. So there's a fireball to try to stop the rope, because that's the range that they were in. And now we get a... okay, up back seems to be a very strong tool to deal with that particular thing. Oh, and the double jump off of the J2D allows Oleander to get away from that armored move. So even though we're watching the Oleander get beaten to death here, it's still a lot of... ooh, nice. Stayed in the corner, just jumped. That's worked a couple of times already. We'll have to use that as well. This Oleander really likes to use those jump options. And there's a jump teleport. Alright, there's a attempted cross-up fireball. There's another teleport, invincible. Yeah, we need to teleport more often. It's so good. Alright, willing to go basically all the way into the corner to get magic because they can just teleport out. Oh, that didn't quite kill, but there's not a lot of time left. And so... oh, that was a good starter, though. That might be enough. Oh, wow! Alright, well, we don't have the game sense in this game to be able to do that. But that was really good. Alright, used the fireball as a way to try to get magic, and the Arizona did get in off of that, but it looked like Otter was willing to take that risk, and has been several times in this matchup. So magic, very important. Ooh, this is going to be very big damage. Alright, backs off. Otter gets into the corner, uses the space to get magic. and gets one more guess here. Honestly, this round is kind of a wash, and probably Otter is just going to try to build some meter in this round so that they have Fred for next round. And if they can get the win, great, but that's probably not really the plan here. Okay, double jump is the pressure there. Gonna go for Fred. Gonna try to make the comeback here. All right. Not what I expected, but I suppose if you get a good hit or two in or steal some meter here, you can still have another Fred for the next round as well. Ooh. Yeah, it's just so good. The Fred just makes a bunch of stuff safe, but not that. And now Otter is going into this last round here with a little bit of a deficit. About a little over a half meter deficit, it looks like. Or sorry, a little over a meter deficit. Right around there. And we'll have to see what they can do. So there's, okay, that's another important thing that we just saw there. Instead of ending the combo like we often do with sweep in to get 1 meter, they just ended it in the air with fireball in to get 2 meter. So, or into 2 magic, sorry. And so the magic is very important. We definitely need to work on our magic game. So magic game and Fred, so huge. It looks like Arizona legitimately tried to counter that fireball on purpose. Maybe that's a way for Arizona to get in there. I know that the counter is a little tiny bit plus. Does it actually hit from all the way over there? I don't know. I've never seen it. All right, and here comes the Fred mix-ups. So what do we got? That 1D is super good. Allows Oleander to start pressure up immediately without having to worry about getting reversaled. So that seems really good as well. We'll definitely be using that because Fred can be meaty while Oleander is completely safe and not worried about getting hit by supers here. So again, fireball in the air to go across the screen and just checks the dash in, and that's going to be it for sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so the fireball in the air ender to get a bunch of magic, we can implement that immediately, right? It might take us, a couple of days before it really becomes a conscious decision for us to do that, whether we, decide to go that route or the standard sweep into, moderate pressure that we can get otherwise. But that seems like a really powerful tool for us to use. So there you go. I mean, just some basic stuff. I probably would go back in again one more time after watching this once and check specific things. So after going through this match once and getting some basic ideas of what we want to look for, I'd go back, just basically skip to the spots where I see the things I want to work on and figure out what's going on. So after the fireball from across the screen, or fireball them across the screen to end the combo pressure, what are they doing after they get the magic? Like, how are they trying to play the neutral game after getting the magic? How much magic can they get safely? We can go back and check all of those things in the VOD to see what we can and cannot get away with just based upon what the players are doing. So that's what I would do next. And then after that, it's time to maybe practice a little tiny bit, maybe 10, 20 minutes in training mode, and then start just playing matches, whether you go to the arcade mode and start trying to do it against easy mode computers, or you just go straight into casuals. While you're just trying to learn something like this, it's often better to start against a pretty tame opponent, and a computer that does enough to make you have to work but doesn't actually pose a ton of threat, which allows you to actually be thinking about the things you want to work on, is usually a pretty good place to start, especially when you're really new. So that is what I would suggest. And once we start doing that and trying to put it into our gameplay, I hope to see you there.